Going to have the day off, but we're not. We're coming on to talk about these games with you guys right now. Welcome back to Big Apple Hockey. It's great to have you guys with us right now. I, of course, am your host, Mark Williams, who always forgets to put up his own name. All right. And joined by the man who is, you would have had the OT winner tonight, too, I think. I have a feeling on you, Mr. John Filkowski.
I tried to play defense a little bit like Quinn HUGHES. So, if anything, if I would have scored, it probably would have been a wrister from either the slot or the point, maybe through a couple of screens, because my shot isn't beating goaltenders clean on.
Yeah, and I'm reflecting back, and I'm trying not to say this without hyperbole, Phil. This might be the greatest day of hockey ever. You have 6 teams playing to go into the middle round, 8 if you include obviously Germany and Slovakia that was trying to do that. But then the 3 games today with all the teams that won their groups, they all had to survive overtime, and each one of them had a comeback in the closing minutes of the third period. You can't ask for more. Just like we would ask you guys, make sure you're liking and subscribing right now. Sorry about getting the one to cover your face on that one, Phil.
It's all right.
But yeah, let's get.
That's a song for the U.S. right now. Let's go.
Definitely quote Freebird on that one. And
Freebird boys and girls.
So an outstanding day of hockey over in Italy. We're going into the A block right now. We're going to skip the graphics on that one. The A block is brought to you by SeatGeek. Use the promo code Big Apple Hockey for $20 off your first order. Quinn HUGHES wins it in overtime for the United States. The United States is going to advance to play Slovakia. We'll get you the time on that one in a minute. Yes, again, All-Star games, make them a lot more rare. The players want this. Do the World Cup of hockey.
And bring back Russia. I'm going to say it again. I don't care who I offend with it. Bring back Russia.
Well, it's also, you saw Alexander Ovechkin. They're like, oh, you're going to watch the Olympics. He just goes, no, not a second. And that whole stage for today, for Quinn HUGHES to be the star, was set from Dylan Larkin deflecting home a Jack Hughes shot and Mika Zibanejad one-timing it in on 6-on-5. And it was classic Mika, the one that you saw before recently. And actually on me a little bit this year too. But Phil, first, your thoughts on this game.
What a game. The U.S. go ahead and they get their lead. It's a pretty tight game, tightly contested, not a lot of errors. It's funny to see people get on JT Miller, who made another kind of nonchalant play where his back checking and his effort level was questioned. Saw it all over the place, and I can't blame anybody for getting on him for that. And then, he makes a couple of plays where, towards the end of the game where you're like, wow, okay, maybe the effort level is there. And then the U.S. gets ahead with Dylan Larkin on a goal that you don't expect Dylan Larkin to score. Like, who expects Dylan Larkin to get a redirect in front? Like, that's where you want Chris Kreider or someone like that, or Brady Tkachuk, someone who has a bigger body that has a little more expertise with deflecting pucks. And then you have the U.S. trying to lock down that game. And then you get to the closing moments, and it's 6-on-5, and Sweden finds a way. Brock Faber, just before Zibanejad scored, actually made a real good defensive play to stop what could have been a goal on a wide open net for Mika Zibanejad, funny enough. And then Zibanejad ends up being the one that gets it maybe a couple of minutes later or so. And, they go to overtime, and then Quinn HUGHES does what Quinn HUGHES does best. He finds ways to walk the line and create space for himself with his speed and his excellent skating and edge work. And he just rips one off the post low. Markstrom couldn't get to it and wins the game for the U.S. And it was a tightly contested game against a team that you knew was going to be tough. You wonder what could have been with a healthy Victor Hedman. Obviously, a big-time game changer for any team he plays on, including an international team, Sweden. But, yeah, and, I mean, you're right about this. It drives you crazy because that's what he does. He's this little Energizer bunny that just flies around the ice, and it's really tough to get a piece of him because he's so shifty and elusive, and that's what makes him probably. I know everybody likes to say Cale Makar is the best in the league at walking the line on the point, but I'd be lying if I said it's not a 1A, 1B situation with him and Quinn Hughes. Like, good luck trying to stop either of those guys at the line, because if you overcommit, they're going to make you look stupid. And that's what Quinn Hughes can do at a snap of a finger like that. So, this was a real good game. Matt's right. Dylan Larkin played a real good game today. The U.S., obviously, they're probably going home if not for his efforts. I think Austin Matthews made some good defensive plays. I definitely want to see more goals from him. And I want to see Jack Hughes stop doing what Matt Barzal does and dancing around with the puck too much.
Yeah.
Make a decision, get the puck to the net, or get it to somebody that is going to do so. Because you have all this talent, you have all this skating, you're an incredible skater. We all know about your hands. You have a shot. Use it. Step up. Be assertive. Drive. Make the play. Like, you're too good to be doing what you're doing at times. I mean, at the end of that power play that they had, that last power play, he's dancing around the puck like a fool. Like, what are you doing? Move it. Get somebody the puck and get him a one-timer. Get the puck on net. Keep it simple. Markstrom is doing all that he can to keep Sweden in that game, and yet they keep giving him chances to see the puck. Don't. So, yeah, I'm with you on this too. Why were they doing that to Jesper Bratt of all people, who's actually played well?
That was one of the points I was going to get to. They did it to Jesper Bratt. Then they gave him first. They don't use him at all. Then they put him in minutes into the third period, and then they run him into the ground. They run him like every other shift. Like, what were you doing? I don't understand that one at all. Like, that's curious. And then if Hedman was injured during warmups, why can't you take him out? That's another one. Rasmus Anderson was available, but there was speculation that he could have been injured because they were trying to figure out what exactly was keeping them from using him. Like, that's very weird situations. They did the same thing with Forsberg in the first game versus Italy, that they played him one shift or didn't play him at all. And they're like, just what's up with that? Those are decisions that should get a coach fired. Playing it simple.
Yeah. I don't know what they were doing there. Sam Hallam, I don't know what was the issue. Like, the roster management and the usage of the players was really confusing. That's something that if I'm Team Sweden's management, I'm looking at that and saying to myself, do I really want to continue to go with a guy like that? You're right. You really said it best. The type of decisions that could get you fired. So, but Mark is looking at something here.
Yeah, no. I just texted my brothers just to be like, hey, they're winning. But you know what? But again, that's something that's very confusing. Look, I got to tell you, Phil, the other thing that's more confusing is Philip Forsberg. Are you allergic to shooting? What were you thinking again? Like, I mean, I need to get the Apu soundbite that I usually use for shorts, where he says, "What are you thinking?" What? But again, like seriously, there are 3 different times Philip Forsberg passed up shots and quality shots for passes. It was driving Eddie Olczyk crazy, and to be honest, yeah, it got to me too. I was sitting there going, "What are we doing? What are you doing?" For the most part, though, the United States kept Sweden to the outside. When they were starting to get to the inside, they were able to at least fend them off enough that Hellebuck was able to make that save. That save he made on Lucas Raymond early in the second period probably changed the entire game. because Raymond
that was
right
a
there,
big
elevates
turning
the puck.
point moment, I think.
Yeah, he elevates that puck. You might be talking about a different game completely. Yep. Instead, he can't elevate it. It actually does. He catches the pad, but he had the glove stacked on top of that. And then the U.S. a couple minutes later, Larkin's able to get the deflection in front and completely beats Markstrom. I didn't think Markstrom looked that great, by the way. He was off his angles. He was getting lucky somewhat.
Yeah,
he looked like
he almost let a second one in the third period. That one got behind him and it almost went in. He was lucky he got that.
And he was also lucky he was able to fire out the glove on the Jack Eichel one in the first period. Because even though, and as the guys pointed out on the broadcast, even though Mika Zibanejad was able to just get a piece of that puck on that pass, which slowed it down just enough for Eichel, he was way past him. It was almost like a cartoon where they run off frame and then have to run back on. That was sort of like where he was. He was completely off frame. He was able to throw out the glove. This was a great statement game. I've been saying all along, all week, the United States was going to get upset by Sweden. I didn't say that, though, for this round. I figured it was going to be the round coming up. Now things have fallen into place, Phil. The United States can be in the gold medal game. I don't want to use the words very easily because you're looking over Slovakia, and Slovakia is not they're no slouches. You look at what you got right here. Juraj Slafkovsky is looking like the guy Montreal wants him to be, and he's got 7 points in this playoffs. How do you pronounce the goalie's name?
Samuel Halavai.
Halavai. Okay, so he is. You look at his numbers right there. He's 2-1 in the Olympics, but if they're gonna be playing very defensive, try to jam up the neutral zone as much as possible. But the United States was basically that's what they saw against Latvia. That's what they saw against really all three teams. Germany really didn't mount much of a counterattack either, or Denmark. So it's going to be a lot of that. So I think they're going to have to work on their dump and chase, which they've done a lot in this tournament, and they've done it effectively. Then their power play has got to come through. It didn't come through today. Didn't need to, but now here we are. What are some of the things you're looking for next round?
So against Slovakia, I want to see them tighten up just a little bit defensively. I don't agree with Markstrom getting this start. Yeah, I mean, I listen. Jim and I have gone back and forth about Markstrom. I think he's leap year. I think they should have went with Wallstedt. I think he was the guy that played the best.
Instead, they scratched him.
Yeah, and I don't understand that. I really don't. But with USA, I want to see them tighten up a little bit, but I also want to see them be a little more aggressive. I want to see them get more pucks in the net. I want to see their power play, especially their top unit, because the second units look better than the top unit, if you ask me. They may not have the conversion percentage, but I think that second unit with Werenski really running it at the point has been the better of the two units, and they're more effective at getting pucks to the net and keeping it simple. I think in order to really beat Canada, I think special teams are going to have to win it. I know that I'm jumping a little ahead there, but you're going to have to do the same thing with Slovakia. Like I know that you can't sleep on this team. You can't. And I would make sure that your special teams are on point. I want to get a quick lead against them. And I think if you get 2 or 3 early on them, you can really start to suffocate them and make them play, with gripping their sticks a little tighter, if you will. So there's not a lot of top end talent on Slovakia. If you can shut down guys like Dvorsky and Slafkovsky, you can really, really put a lot of pressure on the other guys to step up. And you know what? Stay out of the penalty box against them. Don't give their power play a chance to do it because they've got shooters. Slafkovsky can rip them. Dvorsky's got an incredible. Dvorsky might actually have the best shot on the team. And Dvorsky, that was in his draft class. That was what was said about him, is that he was one of the better shooters in that draft class as well. So, I mean, he's kind of lined up. I wonder what this does for his NHL career going forward for him. But yeah, I definitely think that they've got to just stay disciplined. And yeah, don't let them hang around. That's the worst thing you can do against a team that you are superior to, is let the inferior team hang around. And Canada did that with the Czechs, and the Czechs almost made them pay multiple times. So, yeah, you got to get on top of them quick, and you really got to suffocate the life out of them. Just go for the kill, go for the jugular right away.
And Phil, also to add on top of this, there really isn't a team that has home ice advantage in this round because Italy was knocked out pretty quickly. But the next closest country that's remaining is Slovakia, and they're gonna have plenty of fans there. They're rabid. I mean, this is now they got a chance to play for a medal. I mean, that would be so huge for that country. I can't help but smile. I'm pretty sure it was the story of there was a guy who was wanted by police for 16 years that was a Slovakian fan, and he went to the game and they arrested him.
Wow.
That's
weird.
Yeah, weird and amazing at the same time. But it's Phil, that's what you got with some of these fans and these fan bases. And I talk about you're going to get that extra oomph from some of these European teams that you might not have gotten if it was in, let's say, the next Olympics is Los Angeles, and that's in the summer. So let's say if it was Los Angeles, you wouldn't have had that as much. You get the teams that are the host countries. It fires you up, and having your own fans there. So this is we're just buckle up, because this could now perfectly be setting up possibly for a U.S. Finland gold medal game. Let's get into that one in a second. But first, let's ask a couple questions about what you think might happen in the next game. Filk, which player is under more pressure? Connor Hellebuyck.
I think right now it's Austin Matthews. Connor Hellebuyck has some of the best stats in the entire tournament. He's 3-0. I believe with a 957 save percentage and a 0.98 goals against. I mean, what more do you want from Hellebuyck at this point? Hellebuck's been the man. He's been as advertised. He's been the guy that they've asked him to be. He hasn't let up the soft goal. I don't want to be the jinx there. I know I shouldn't be saying shit, but
the game-changing save, as we mentioned before.
Yeah, but he's made the game-changing save like he made in this game. He made that save on Raymond, and that's the save that he hasn't been making in the playoffs in the NHL, most notably on the road. He's made some of those at home, and his home record is a lot better than his away record. But again, this is a neutral site game. So that's why I said that before with our Olympic preview. Like, how is that going to affect Connor Hellebuyck? Connor Hellebuyck's look really good. Austin Matthews, although he's their leading goal and point scorer, the numbers aren't that impressive. And Joe Graves here is absolutely right. The goal that he gave up today, there's nothing he could do about it. And Matthews looks totally off. Like, do you see that 60-goal, 100-point Austin Matthews when you watch him play right now?
No, and the way that I would categorize it, and follow me in the way that I'm trying to say it, he's trying to get to the dirty areas, but he's doing it like a finesse guy. So
you know what? I think you're absolutely right about that. I do, and I think I think the expression you're looking for is square peg round hole.
Yeah, I think he's got to learn that game though. That's something about him. He's got a big body. He's got to get in there. He's got to add that to his arsenal.
I do agree with you. I don't know if it's really possible for him to play that type of way. I don't want him necessarily to be the guy that's getting the dirty goals in front of the net. I mean, I know that you have to, I would prefer that he gets open in the slot and rips his world-class god-tier shot that he has.
Mhm.
But the one thing that he needs to be, and I've seen a little improvement in this, is board battles. Like the 50-50 battles on
Yeah.
the boards. Like he's coming away with more pucks, which I'm happy about. But you need that to be a little better. And to win these next 2 games, he's going to have to be better at that. And that's why I think there's more pressure on him, because those battles, he's going to be scrutinized every battle that he goes into. There's going to be not just from American fans, but from the fans up north. The fans up north that are all Maple Leafs fans, or even just Canadian hockey fans in general, are going to be looking at this guy. Ha ha ha! You didn't come away with that puck. Still a loser.
Yeah. and I think there's a little bit of a misconception that Hellebuck is under as much pressure as people would think that he's under, or that he can't get it done. This guy is that good. We've gone over this before. Winnipeg doesn't exactly have the tightest defense, and they were able to provide him the support that he needed in the playoffs. This team, man, this team is loaded on defense. They are absolutely loaded, and you're seeing the effect Quinn Hughes and Charlie McAvoy have on this team, both defensively, with McAvoy really making guys feel uncomfortable. But also, Filk, you might want to say Hughes is the finesse guy, or whatever you want to categorize him as well. But it's that old argument with Erik Karlsson. If he's got the puck, then you can't get it from him. Isn't that just as good as him being good defensively? And I give Hughes all the credit. They break out of the zone better. He holds onto the puck a lot better than, look, even Adam Fox, who did not make the team and who is injured right now. This team is not the same team that went on to lose to Canada last year. That being said, I still don't like some of their roster decisions. We'll get to that at another point. But Phil, make your prediction. Who do you expect is going to step up in the next game?
Oh, Slovaks are going to bring the physicality. They're going to play the U.S. hard, and you know that, and that's the way that they're going to have to play. They're going to have to play a tight defensive game where they limit the USA's chances and they keep them to the outside. I know this is kind of cliche. Well, I'm going to say the Bash brothers are going to be 2 guys that are going to step up, but another guy that I think is going to step out outside of them, I think Tage Thompson. Tage Thompson needs to have a big game. Tage Thompson needs to start using his size a lot more effectively and getting to the dirty areas, and he needs to make the Slovak defense life hell. Jake Gensel did not have the greatest game today. I watched on the Canadian feed, and Mike Johnson was saying that really Jake Gensel was kind of and I kind of agree with that. For a guy that's a 2-time Cup winner, that's really put up some big goals and some big moments in the Stanley Cup playoffs, you definitely want more from Jake and Bake. But I think that Tage Thompson is the guy. I know that everybody's going to talk about the Kachuk brothers and how they're going to set the tone and everything like that. Yeah. You want them to be the gyms and go out there and absolutely bang some bodies and put some people into the glass and to the boards. But I want Tage Thompson really to start taking over a game. Obviously, Matthews, you need him to be the guy. But I want Thompson, and I want Boldy. I want Boldy to really start using his size to be able to drive to the net and score more goals too. Because he's not a small guy. He's like 6'2", 6'3", and he's over 200. And you want to see, like, not that he has to be prime Cam Neely or John LeClaire or somebody like that, but start being a little more physical. Like, use your size to your advantage. Shield pucks better. Create plays. Use your size to your advantage. So, and then really on the defensive end, I look at Zach Werenski. Everybody's talking about Quinn Hughes and the overtime goal, but Zach Werenski's been a monster out there too. I would just, I'm not a huge proponent of analytics. I think they're helpful to a point, but I would love to see the stats with Werenski out there because he's been a monster. I tell you right now, like when he's out there, USA has the puck a lot more often. Just like Quinn Hughes, but a slightly slower version of him, I would say. He's a guy that can control the puck from the game, control the game from the back end with the puck, and he moves the puck out effectively. Their breakouts are always on point when he's out there. It just his passing is top tier. Just such a smooth defenseman. I don't know who he reminds me of, but I will say Quinn Hughes. Doesn't he remind you a little bit of someone like Phil Housley?
Yes. He's able to dangle so well. He uses his speed. His outlet passes are amazing. Yeah, Phil Housley would be one of those guys I would think about with that. You hit a lot of guys on the head and the nails on the head with those. I don't want to name the entire roster. I think you're going to need a big game out of Dylan Larkin. But the guy that's sort of the lion in the weeds right now is Jack Eichel because he has played very well, I thought, in this entire tournament. It's just he hasn't had his moment yet. I can kind of see it in this game where he steps up and he gets the U.S. to the gold medal. And I do like the prediction that he's going to score, as Matt says right there. But the other thing that I could think about with that, Phil, I got to give Mike Sullivan some credit. Him flipping Jack Hughes onto the Larkin line, that's really helped. I have no idea why Kyle Connor just can't fit with Team USA. I don't know why. Who knows? Maybe Jason Robertson and Cole Caulfield could have fit better, but it's just not working with Kyle Connor. I would love it if they could figure that out because this guy is one hell of a player, and he's going to be a key factor for American hockey going forward because he's already one of the NHL's better forwards to begin with. By the way, everybody, make sure you join the conversation. Come on, comment with us. If you're on Instagram and you're seeing this, you have to go on YouTube in order to get your comments read and highlighted. I mean, I can always read them, but make sure you comment your Olympic predictions right now. But, Phil, let's recap the rest of the day real quick. And we'll start with the game that was probably the most shocking because Canada defeating Czechia 4-3 in overtime. Mitch Marner, you saw the goal in the opening. A great backhand goal. A little bit overcommitting by Lucas Dostal, but, that's what Mitch Marner can do. He can shoot it back against the grain. Czechia went ahead 3-2. That should be 3-2, not 3-1, with 7:42 remaining. There we go. Now we got that fixed. But Canada tied it. Great tip by Nick Suzuki, who hit the goalpost on an empty net earlier in the second period. But the big moment, everybody wants to talk, by the way, about the too many men on the ice that Czechia was not called for when Andre Palat scored. Valid. But Jordan Binnington stopping Marty Natchez on a breakaway in the closing minutes while he was getting assaulted by Devon Taves and no call whatsoever. Again, one of them is a judgment call. The other one is, could you guys count? That's really what that is. Phil, can just to also break this one down. Finland defeats Switzerland. It was on a Arturi Lehkonen goal. He went bar down. First off, hearing the bing right before the game-winning goal, always one of the things you dream about. Miro Heiskanen tied it late. Think about that. All three games, late game tying, late minute tying goals, and two of them within the final 2 minutes. So how about that? So Finland has to face Canada on Friday. Phil, go ahead. Which one do you want to start with?
The Canada Czechia game was insane. It was absolutely insane. That was one of the better games of international hockey that I've watched. I would put that up there with the finals of the 96 World Cup of Hockey because that was an incredible game. David Pastrnak had a big game for them. Lucas Dostal was amazing. I know that the goal that he gave up, the overtime winner to Marner, he probably would want back. But what more can you ask from Lucas Dostal? Like, he channeled every bit of 98 Hasek that he could to almost get them that win. And then Nick Suzuki, what is Filip Hronek doing in front there? He was just standing there next to Nick Suzuki, doesn't do anything about him. Doesn't do a thing about him. And yeah, I'm with you on this. That Finland game, that was a tighter game than I expected. And Arturi Lehkonen is definitely a big game player. That's a guy that can get you some timely goals. Ask any Colorado Avalanche fan about that. But yeah, I definitely think that we're up for some real good semifinal action on Friday. That's going to be another great day of hockey. Could we end up saying that you said hyperbole that this was the best day of hockey ever?
Yeah.
Did Friday top this?
Wow, that's a tough one, because you're talking about, I mean, if both these games go to overtime again, then that really does kind of alter your perception on that. By the way, they announced the times on each one. It's going to be Canada, Finland at 10:30, Slovakia versus the United States at 3 p.m. So that's something that's just, I mean, I would love to be able to do a stream for that, but of course it's Friday night. That means I have to work.
We might have to do it earlier, or like an in-between stream or something like that.
Yeah, probably. Or maybe we'll do a watch along.
We'll be on Friday. We'll make Friday work.
Yeah, we'll make Friday work, everybody. I'll tell you what, every time you want to talk about performers that stepped up, players that just they knew they sort of had their reputations on the line today. And it's funny, Filk, because you brought up Lucas Dostal trying to imitate Dominik Hasek 1998. Well, there was another guy on that team in 1998 named Jaromir Jagr, and David Pastrnak really tried to emulate him today. That first off, that bullet in the first period that gave Czechia the lead, chef's kiss. Wow. Then you kind of got the feeling that Czechia was getting some bounces, but they were also playing like they wanted it more in the second period. But then bad penalty was taken. I forgot who took it. And there was a parade to the penalty box for Canada early on. And then McKinnon scores the tie on the power play. And then, I mean, yeah, play Freebird. And first off, 43 rules.
You knew you're gonna get a 43 liking out of this guy right there.
Yeah, well, hold on. I'm grabbing my. I'll use the term my sweatshirt, but
jeez,
it is on the sleeve. Where is? Oh no, it was on the chest. There you go. There's my 43 for my jersey. So
yeah,
took a while to get there, guys. But I mean, wow,
crazy. Yeah, just a crazy game. And you know what? The one thing that stood out for me is everybody expected the Czechs just to kind of sit back. And then, when they tied the game at 2, it was like, who was going to take control of that game? And everybody thought Canada had the momentum and they were going to take control of the game and they were going to take it over. And then at times earlier on, late in the second, early in the third, they looked like it. But then the Czechs had the most unexpected wave of pressure for about 3 to 5 minutes that I've seen in an international tourney ever, maybe. I couldn't believe, I thought that they were going to take that lead, and they did, and then they were going to close that game out the way that they were playing. They hemmed Canada in their own zone for a while, and credit to them for playing as good as they did. And you know what? You have a 40-year-old captain in Roman Cervenka who absolutely showed that he still has it at his age on the biggest stage in the world. Hats off to him, because you don't see that a lot. So for an older guy who's, funny enough, my age, that still has it, you know what? There's the tip. There's the tip. So Yeah, I just and what an effort from the Czechs, man. If they had a few more top end players, I think that would be a team that could probably win a gold medal.
And it's funny because one guy that got lost in the shuffle of this game is the guy back with Celebrity, who scored yet again in this tournament. I think that brings him up to 5.
Yes, he has the tournament lead.
Yeah, he's got the tournament lead with 5. By the way, Nick Olsen, 4 goals for Denmark. I mean, you gotta give him some credit on that too. But this is
at the Mitra run.
You know what? Well, you could also say maybe that's what I would say for Juraj Filkowski, because he's
you know what? I think you might be right, considering it's a Slovak and it's a guy that was almost 2 points per game, and he's got them in a position to medal. So yeah, maybe you're right. Yeah, I think that's a little more fitting. Slavkovsky having the 2010 Dimitra run.
But now you're going to face the one thing for Canada is they've faced the best goalie that they faced all tournament this week. Facing Dostal, they faced him for a second time. Now you get UC Saros, and UC Saros is. I expected him to have a Vezina under his belt by now. A matter of fact, I think 2 years ago I made my prediction preseason that he was going to do it, and then he didn't. Could have been 3 years ago, but I just figured it was his time. Finland, can you imagine, by the way, if they had Alexander Barkov? We might be really talking about them for gold, and they still might. They still might gold. Think about that one for a second. And again, speaking about players that weren't in the 4 nations that are here now, Miro Heiskanen, who's been fantastic in his own right in this tournament. There's so much going right, and you'll talk about the star power of the Finns that I haven't even mentioned Mikko Rantanen yet, and he's among one of the NHL's best players. But Canada's going to have their hands full, and lately it sounds funny to say this, Phil. It's like teams are able to bottle up Connor McDavid for most of a game, and then he'll like to have a couple shifts to remind everybody he's Connor McDavid, but then he hasn't had that dominant performance yet that you expect. And I'm saying this for a guy that's leading the team the entire tournament.
He's leading the entire tournament in scoring, and yet you could say that he just hasn't been the Connor McDavid we all know. Like 11 points in 4 games is absurd, but
he's almost at 3 points per game.
Yeah, and he's 1 point off of 3 points per game, but it's not the same Connor McDavid. Like you look at him and you're saying like, hey, this is the most dominant player of an entire generation. It's probably going down as a top 5 player of all time when it's all said and done. And yet he's just not the same guy right now. Like he has to have that next level performance, and I think these next 2 games are his proving grounds.
Now, I haven't seen any word on it yet, but for my money, the guy that I would put there as number 6 best player of all time, he went down today, Sidney Crosby. Yeah. And that could be a big loss for Canada. Now, not many people would say, oh, you're losing your checking line center, your third line center, or even sometimes they use them as the second line center. And you go, oh, ho hum, you just lost Sidney Crosby. Sidney Crosby does it at both ends of the ice. Sidney Crosby does everything well. He's like, if
still the smartest player on that team.
Still the smartest player on that team. And if you remember the initial NHL hockeys where they used to have the check marks for every position, Sidney Crosby always got the double checks and you'd get nothing. That's the comparison compared to that.
Yeah. This is probably the best all-around player in the tournament right now, even at 37, 38 years old. I think 30. Yeah, he's 38. Sorry.
38.
He's 38. So, I mean, just incredible player still. Big loss for Pittsburgh if he's out for any extended time. Seen some doctors on Twitter that are noted actual doctors. I've looked up the information, and couple of them speculating that it could be an MCL injury. Yeah, I mean, Cooper could say that, but who knows how Crosby's going to be. And this is not a Jacob Trouba situation where it's a regular season game or regular season time with the Rangers where you could derail a team by coming out and playing like crap. Sidney Crosby is still Sidney freaking Crosby. Like, let's be real here. So if that guy says that he's okay to play and wants to get in there and can still give you like 60 to 65%, he's still probably the best third line center on any team in the entire tournament.
This is one of the toughest calls I think I would have to make, because we've already seen someone in the Olympics risk their future health because it was their last run, so to speak, in Lindsey Vonn playing, doing the downhill on a torn ACL.
Ridiculous.
Oh my goodness. I mean, not just what are you thinking, but if she pulled that off, that would be among one of the greatest feats ever. It was amazing that she pulled off the practice run, and I watched that one. But
that would have been the Willis Reed moment.
If you have Sidney Crosby go out there on, let's say it's an MCL tear, and right now you're the Pittsburgh Penguins, you're sitting in second place of the Metro Division. Sidney Crosby, he's not going to diminish his value to the Pittsburgh Penguins because Sidney Crosby is not crazy. But on the other hand, that shows you how much this means to the players.
Yeah.
And that this might be this is definitely his last chance at the Olympics. Although who knows? Sid could play fourth line center.
I was about to say, I was talking with my buddy before. We were coming back, to do this stream, and we was talking about maybe the MCL could be a career ender if it's a tear. I mean, listen, this guy has drive that you just don't understand.
Yeah.
And not only with today's modern medicine being a big difference maker, years ago that might have been the death toll for him. But this is a guy that could easily come back, and smarts alone, he could probably still put up a point per game. He could probably still be an 80+ point player. Even with that injury. So right now, I wouldn't sleep on Sidney Crosby. This guy is just
no.
He's different.
And Phil, to add on top of that, if there is any shot of the entire tournament that I can tell you exemplifies what's going on that bench, was when Canada tied it on the Suzuki tip. The entire bench celebrated except one person, John Cooper. He just kept his head down, smiled, shook his head, and then moved on from there. And as far as the mentality of all these things have to do, I'll take it back to Herb Brooks, walking up to the United States players in 1980 versus Finland. And he just says, you guys haven't won anything yet, and you lose this game, you're going to take it to your effing grave. And although in the documentary, they say that he said it at the beginning of the day, and in the one that just came out, and the one from Do You Believe in Miracles? Yeah, Cooper's a winner.
That's what I was just going to say. I literally, when you said that, the one thing that came to my mind is this is a guy that knows how and what it takes to win. And that is why he's the best coach in the world right now, for my money.
Because he's a lawyer. That's the way to say it.
You could talk about that roster and how great that roster is and the pieces that they have, their points, Kucherov, Stamkos, Hedman, guys over the years, Vasilevsky, and then, the depth guys that they've had. He's had the pieces, but Cooper is just a calming influence. That's a guy that goes out there. It's like a guy that goes out there and scores a goal and has zero reaction. He's been there before. He knows how to do this. This is nothing to him. He's won 2 Stanley Cups. I'm telling you, and then not only that, but he was the coach for the Four Nations team. So
Yeah.
he's won. He's been a winner at every level. He's won in the AHL, and that got him his NHL job. He's won in the ECHL. Like, what level has this guy not won at? The guy is nothing but a winner. Not only that, but he is a Hofstra alum from Long Island.
Yes, he is.
So, just a really good guy too. It's really hard to hate on a guy like that. A guy that started out. Yes, he was a lacrosse player at Hofstra. He was also a law student there. He went there for law, funny enough. And he turned himself into one of the best coaches in NHL history. I mean, I hate the fact that he's not the Rangers coach, and I would move mountains to get him to New York. But I'll tell you right now, that's a guy that just gets it. Like in wrestling, we talk like there's that it factor, and guys and girls get it. John Cooper gets it. John Cooper gets how to win. He gets what it takes to win those games. And talking and getting the players to do certain things and getting the most out of them. Like you talk about that John Tortorella moment in the 2004 finals where he challenged Vinny Lecavalier. And what did Vinny Lecavalier do? He went out, fought Jerome McGinley, of all people. That's the last guy you wanted to fight on that Calgary roster because McGinley could throw hands with anybody out there. And then he scores that insane goal going through two people, checking and fighting off two checks. And scores. So, John Cooper knows how to get those performances out of players. And that's the difference between a guy like him and a guy like, I don't know, a Peter Laviolette. I don't know, throwing out random names here. But that's the difference. And John Cooper is just a winner. So.
Yeah, and he's so even keel, too. Like, they give it the first goal, play your game. They give it the first two, play your game, you're relaxed. He was so relaxed when they were down 2-0 the Rangers, and the Rangers dominated them, I would say, the first two games of that Eastern Conference Finals. What did John Cooper do? Relaxed. They were even down 2-0 in game 3, midway through the game. Relaxed.
And he relaxed.
Like, so he's the ideal coach. And we think for midseason awards, we gave him our coach of the year.
So cut that open. That's probably ice for John Cooper.
Yes, exactly. And, by the way, as you said before, Hofstra alum, it's always great. But James is saying right here, so we're fighting about this at the bar. Do you think those guys who play a pro with each other but playing against each other in the Olympics, are they giving their teammates pointers or player weaknesses? No, they're not. Because
I think so. I think there's definitely some sort of. I don't think they give you the entire book, but I definitely think that there's something like you want to win that gold medal. You want to win that gold medal. Like I know, like so my buddy and I played in a tournament. The other, like, what was it? Not this past weekend, the weekend before. And I'm tempted to give the book out, even though some of the other guys we play with kind of know the book on them a little bit. But I'm tempted to, but I don't want to give everything away because, you still, when you're playing with that guy, you don't want him easily exposed. But you definitely want to get the win when you can get the win,
Yeah. You use everything you can to win, period. I could talk about something that...
Do we want to call Bobby Clark here?
Go ahead.
If you're not cheating, you're not trying?
Yeah, there you go. And Al Davis probably has that same line as well. But Phil, there's a move that a friend of mine back in my junior days, my coach pulled out, and that my coach, I don't want anybody to do any research on it. He told him to say something to a kid that was on the other team, and that totally fired him up. Let's just say that my coach like dated his sister at one point. So that was the whole
thing. It almost sounds like a Hanrahan type reference there.
Yeah, kind of like that.
But little Red Dunlop stirring the pot.
Yes, actually closer to Reggie Dunlop on that one. By the way, that was the mother from A Christmas Story. How about that? That was Talk about having two different roles right there. But here's the thing: when you're in this tournament, you don't have friends. There isn't Vika Zibanejad waiting for Chris Kreider. You're playing for Sweden. You're playing for America. That's what matters more.
Yeah.
And that's what'll matter more than your friendships on anything else. And that's why you're playing for your country first and foremost, because if you go home to Canada, you're gonna be a hero if you have the game-winning goal, sort of like Sidney Crosby. Sort of like, I mean, Crosby was already the best player, period. But then it was the best player scoring for the home team and the host team, and then you have, I mean, Henrik Lundqvist was a rookie and he enjoyed Sweden. I think it was the story. Jaromir Jagr wasn't going to go to celebrate, and then was the president, the premier, I forget which one they called him, out in the Czech Republic at the time, or just now Czechia, and they said, we really want you to come to Prague. And sure enough, he ended up coming to Prague because he was going to go back and join his team. But then again, look at Ryan Miller. He enjoyed the fame, but there was also that bit of, yeah, but I won silver.
Yeah, I mean, he won. I think he won tournament most outstanding player and top goalie, and yeah, he was not happy with all of it because of the silver medal.
Yeah, so that's why it's like there's so much that needs to happen for your team. You're this again. It would be like if we're playing for New York, us. Me and you, and it doesn't matter if we're on other teams. Doesn't matter if you high stick me in the face 2 games ago. We're playing for our region, so that's where first and foremost is. I got a distraction over here, but so Phil, here we are. You look at these games. Do you see it being clear cut USA Canada, or is one of these teams going to really shock the world?
I'm going to go with the obvious matchup with Canada and USA. I mean, Finland, I just think that roster is too limited. I think it's too limited to really compete with Canada. I think they'll be a tough game. So, yeah. No, they didn't draft him based on that. That was after he was drafted. So he was already a Ranger prospect at the time that he threw that.
Joe, I'm so glad you mentioned that, though, because there were the people that said all the time that, oh, he's going to be such a great leader with that. And I pointed to that and said, no, that's mental fragility. Because first off, you threw it away like a petulant child. This is Elias Anderson, in case if anybody doesn't know. But you threw it away into the stands like a child. By the way, you're not even worried if it hits somebody. It's a silver medal. It's not anything light. And secondly, if he would have kept that, let's use it a different way. He kept that, and every time he looked at that, that was his motivation. That would have been a whole lot better than just going, I don't want it near me. Maybe he would have worked harder and would have been an NHLer. But that's not who Elias Anderson was.
Yeah, you like the fire in a way. I don't necessarily like the action. But again, it was just bad pick. Just the whole situation with Pettersson. Elias Pettersson probably would have been a Ranger had the Rangers gotten their way. That was really who they aimed for in that draft. I mean, I've gotten word from some notable people who have some information on that, and yeah, so but that's another story.
But still going into this, again, you can't sleep on Slovakia, and they're definitely going to try to slow everything down. And when teams slept on them, you saw what happened to Finland in this series when they slept on them. You saw, I mean, they had a couple really dominant games. But you looking at this now, though, Finland, wow. I thought, like, Slovakia and Germany because they were the best second place teams or the ones that didn't win their division. I was looking at today going, they don't have to play Sweden. They don't have to do this. But I mean, Sweden could have won gold and they're going home. And we know about Czechia. So these are good teams that are going home. United States, don't be one of them. And one thing I could say is Mike Sullivan ain't sleeping on them.
Well,
so you look at these coaching staffs, Phil. Wow, these coaching staffs. Because you have John Tortorella on with Mike Sullivan. You just look at the Canadians. You got Bruce Cassidy as an assistant. Pete DeBoer, who's unemployed, but we know he's a good coach. He's an assistant. John Cooper, who's the head coach. Rick Tockett's an assistant. It's like a who's who. And now it's just a matter of can they bring it home? Something inside of me says one of these teams are going to get upset, and that's why I'll be brave. I'll go Finland. I'll say Finland is the one that pulls off the upset, and I don't think it's going to happen, even though I'm making this prediction. So I don't think it's going to happen, but Finland. They're going to throw something at Canada that Canada hasn't seen. This is the best team Canada's faced all tournament. And
I don't know.
I
really don't know about that. Honestly, I think the Czechs might be the best team that they've faced so far. I think the
Czechs have the top end talent. Finland's got the depth.
Do they?
They got more depth and more defense. So now you're facing.
I think the defensive unit is better, but I mean, is UC Saros going to be able to do what Lucas Dostal did?
If there's anybody that could do it, I would say UC Saros.
I don't know. And not only that, but you could say Finland's got the better defense, but the Czechs have better forwards.
Hey, maybe
by far.
Yeah, but I mean, you got guys like Anton Lundell that's got 2 Stanley Cup rings under his belt.
Sure. I mean, Mikko Rantanen's got one too, but I mean, I look at the forward depth and I say Mikko Rantanen is the one game breaker that they have. David Pastrnak for me is a better player than Mikko Rantanen. I'm sorry, it's no slap in the face, but I'm taking Pastrnak over Rantanen. I'll say that right now. Pasternak's one of the most. I think he might be the most underrated superstar in the league because when everybody talks about the very, very best players in the league, everybody talks about your McKinnons, your McDavids, your Kucherovs, your Celebranis, and so on. Why is Pastrnak never in that discussion, despite doing what he does with that Boston Bruins roster?
Yeah. But if you look, by the way, look at them down the middle. It's still going to be Hintz, Aho, and Lundell. I mean,
okay.
You look at a fourth line of Tolvanen, Haula, and Armia. I mean, I just think there's plenty of talent with Finland, and again, just don't sleep on them.
Yeah, you know what? Honestly, if they had Barkov back, I would feel a lot better about them upsetting
100%.
Because I think they could pull it. I think Lundell could really give problems to a lesser center, but you may end up having a guy like Suzuki against somebody like that, and it's a wash. And Suzuki's a better offensive player than Lundell while simultaneously being a better defensive center. I mean, then again, what does the Sidney Crosby injury mean? That's the biggest thing here. Is he going to play? We don't know yet.
All right. And it's oddly enough, did we lose our feed to X? No, we still have it right now.
No, I was about to say, I don't think there would have been a notice that would have came up. I didn't see anything.
Yeah, no, but they've been having trouble with X so far. So, all right. Phil, I guess we'll wrap that up right here. Let's take a couple comments first. See if you guys have any questions. But Matt's right about, like we said just now, Matt's right. It's Ogie Oglethorpe fears a brawl. Well, one thing you're
Here's
not going to
no
have in
ball.
the gold medal game is Tom Wilson against the Kachuk brothers, probably Brady, because if you pick up somebody, actually Filk, somebody posted something on Instagram that was just so laughable that it was they posted the playoff games, points per games, and they put it was Draisaitl versus Matt Kachuk, and they turned around and went, well, one guy drives the bus, the other guy rides the bus. Like, are you kidding me? Matt Kachuk, he rides those guys to the front row. He's far from a passenger on any team.
Matt Kachuk
And
is
look at their first
I mean,
Stanley Cup run. They don't make the Stanley Cup run without Matt Kachuk.
No, if Huberdeau is still in Florida, that trade never happens. Florida becomes a team that just is known as getting there, and they're the bridesmaid, never the bride.
He completely changed the Florida Panthers.
He changed the
Best
culture.
way to say it.
He changed
everything.
The culture. That's a culture-changing trade.
Again, it takes stones, just like it is. You have about as many stones as it takes to play curling. Little pun right there, if you will. To make that move that Zito did, because you had a President's Trophy team, you dealt an MVP candidate, and you could argue you gave up a lot more than what you got back. And not only did they go to 3 Stanley Cup finals, they won 2. They didn't give up a draft pick until after they won 2 Stanley Cups. So how about that?
Yeah, that's crazy.
And
I mean,
by the way, James,
and a lot of people, I bashed that trade. Like when that happened, I bashed that trade. I thought it was a bad trade for Florida to give up Huberdeau and Uyghur. That was a tough trade. So,
and Phil, let me throw this one out of you. I said afterwards, after the Kadri signing, that you could argue Brad Treliving is the GM of the year already. Not only was he was fired, so was his coach. So it's like, it's amazing how things can change. You can look at it and say, on paper, this is supposed to be the best. It wasn't. That's the thing. So, all right. So, guys, we're going to cut it off right there, as we got a lot more that we're going to be doing. We're going to try to get something done on Friday, because I do have to work that night. So maybe I got till about like 5:30 to figure all that out. And just this is an incredible day of hockey, Phil. I can't say that enough. Like 3 overtime, 3 last minute comebacks. 2 of the teams that came back won in overtime. Just wow.
Just
wow
think of
is
this,
the easiest
though.
way to say it.
We've got the semifinals and the gold medal game. And then you come back to the NHL, and then the trade watch is on. So, I mean, we've got this Friday will be 2 weeks until the trade deadline. And then we're going to have that massive stream as well. So buckle up, everybody. This is about to get real interesting. The weather's about to get a little warmer. You can play Here Comes the Sun if you're in New York once that snow melts. And I know I shouldn't be saying shit because of where I am right now, but but yeah, I mean it's a fun time of year as a hockey fan, because I mean even as a Ranger fan, it's got to be interesting to see who's going to go where and everything like that. I know I shouldn't be mentioning the Rangers because that's going to trigger a lot of people, PTSD, yada yada yada. I get it, but it's just a fun time of year. So.
Well, it's a fun time of year, and it's also the playoffs are starting to take shape. You got underdog teams like the Columbus Blue Jackets that are trying to completely rewrite their season and get back into the playoffs again. What about the dominant teams like Colorado? Kind of stumbled a little bit. So we got a lot coming, and just don't worry about it, guys. We got a lot more comments. And also, I still got to make our video for my take on just that I don't believe in the promises of the New York Rangers. So there's a lot of issues that I kind of have with their letter 2.0 and why certain people need to go. So
no, this is about his
this is a good one.
Your take on Finland, but yeah. But I had to highlight it because I just thought it was funny there.
God bless you. All right, guys, take it easy. I'm gonna have some dinner and tend to my my ailing wife, who is a little bit sick. That I got her sick. So take it easy.
Tell Maria I said feel better.
Absolutely, she's right here, so she heard you say it. So
good.
All right.
And then the next time,
let's see whether or not
beside the
head. And hopefully we'll be doing another one of these streams at about let's say 10:30 on Sunday when I am going to be half asleep. So that'll be fun. Guys,
yeah, that'd be
take
great.
it easy. Yeah. And we will talk to you soon.